Leaders, in God's unfolding season, your government in Kenya does not support Israel. It supports Hamas and the neo-Philistines of the Gaza Strip. Our president announced after the war started on October 7th that Kenya supports Israel. But is it really true? Let's consider these few facts. For example, how would Kenya support Israel? Is it militarily? Is it financially? In what way would they? Is it maybe through a political advocacy? In which specific way did President Ruto mean that Kenya supports Israel? You see, if you look at it critically, actually it is the KDF and the units of the Kenya police that receive training support from Israel. So it's not militarily. We haven't sent any forces, let alone to fight in Israel or along the IDF in Gaza. Even we haven't sent our patrol boats of the Kenya Navy to go and help patrol the Red Sea, you know, the area where the Houthis are bringing troubles for everybody in the world. So we haven't offered military support. Yeah, that's an X already. Maybe did we do anything financially that you know of from Kenya? I know we are not considered to be one of the rich countries, but if a brother nation, a critical partner as Israel is under war, couldn't we even, put austerity measures to save up a bit of money to, to help finance either Israel directly or even to hand it over to the coalition of nations to buy fuel for their military boats as they patrol the Red Sea? Have we done anything like that? I don't think so. I haven't heard. Yeah. So apparently we haven't done that. Okay, so let's look at maybe we did something on the political realm. The other day, South Africa, it took Israel to international court. Did we maybe send a diplomatic delegation to the government of South Africa to ask them not to do that? No, we didn't. Okay, admittedly, we supported Israel when they wanted to gain observer status in the AU, but that is not in the context of this statement. The president made that statement after, in respect to the war against the Neo-Philistines. So, I'm defeated. I can't see. Possibly in the UN. Yeah, when I look at the UN, there's been at least two major decisions that the UN has sat to deliberate. At least two where Kenya would have made a stance. Yeah, initially, just after that attack of October 7th, the UN General Assembly sat to deliberate this issue, and on the eve of the response, I'll look for the video and put it in here. On the eve of the IDF response to the Neo-Philistines of the Gaza Strip, the UN passed a resolution that that the IDF should not go. I think I made a video on this. I'll look for it and put it in the description also. That the IDF, Israel, should not go in after Hamas in the Gaza Strip. In that vote, Kenya voted along with all the other nations, or most of them at least, of the earth, against Israel's decision to defend itself and to go and rescue its hostages. Yeah, so we didn't. Then recently, when the Palestinians, through the back door, with the help of other crazy Islamic nations. They decided to try and pass a resolution that they will be admitted to the UN as with full country status. Again, actually, even the ambassador of Kenya made a statement in the UN supporting, together with majority of the lost earth, nations of the lost earth, to, against Israel. So evidently, even politically, Kenya is not standing politically, diplomatically, whatever word you want to use. Yeah, me, I'm a simple villager, I may not know, but whatever word, Kenya, even on the political realm, does not stand with Israel. So how? Let us be told. I am asking for a government officer to inform me, send me an email or call me or do something. Tell me how does Kenya support Israel? Yeah, actually, Kenya supports Hamas. Yeah, why? Because the 2 times we have voted for in the UN, we voted for the Neo-Philistines, and those Neo-Philistines, I believe, it's my conviction, 99% of the people in the Gaza Strip, they are for Hamas. They have been even as recently as last week. There's been public the public has come out to do haki yetu in support of Hamas. Yeah, have you heard one Neo-Philistine saying that Hamas is an evil entity? Yeah, they haven't. Yeah, so by and large, that community is of terrorists. Let's just be frank here. I know mainline media won't tell you that, but it's the facts are they're out for everybody to see. Yes, so we haven't supported on any diplomatic front that I can see. Possibly because President Ruto likes to travel around the world and make grandiose speeches about what Africa wants now, and so on and so forth. Maybe he made a speech somewhere condemning these Neo-Philistines and their Hamas leadership, and in support of Israel. Maybe he said something somewhere. Actually, he hasn't. Yeah, despite his love of speeches, whether here in Kenya or even outside in the world, anywhere. Yeah, and you can't say he doesn't have an audience. He does. Yeah, which is quickly eroding in Africa because people are realizing, this our champion, he has sold his birthright to the imperialist. Africa is moving away from being ruled, from jumping, hopping to every beacon call of the colonial master. But here we see somebody, he's just spoken about Russia. So not even a speech has been made in support of Israel by him or by his all we can see is people calling themselves villagers and others saying, we are going to bring maandamano back and all these things. And by the way, a lot of this discussion that is currently going on in the country, political discussion, is a diversion. Leaders in God's season, it's a diversion. Yeah, we should be discussing the finance bill and the budget. Yeah, those are the top things that we should be talking about. Not about whether I come from this village or the other village or something like that. It's diversionary. It's being said, and just look at your social medias. Yeah, there's so many people now. Every person who covers politics in Kenya is chatting, and it's being pushed. Yeah, in every social media, it's being pushed to you to consume. While as time moves on, yeah, and we get to the point where the budget is passed. Yeah, and that won't be big news. then what will happen 2025? I guarantee you, money will be borrowed in amounts that we don't know, and you will not be able to tell where that money has been used here in this country. I don't know even, you know, all this discussion about how much the aircraft cost is diversion. It's diversion. Yeah, we should be focusing on how this government is proposing, you know, to use money and where it's proposing to extract it from. Those are the main points. Now, what's even worse, I heard, you know, President Ruto was in Switzerland. I don't know, he's always moving up and about. I don't know. When he was in Switzerland, I think he's still possibly there. They'd gone for this conference about Russia and Ukraine. I heard him saying Kenya's position has always been that Russia, you know, invaded Ukraine.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine has been a horrifying spectacle of carnage and devastation. Kenya's position has been clear and unequivocal from the beginning. Russia's aggression against Ukraine is unlawful, unjust, and a violation of the fundamental principles of international law.
Again, I was dumbfounded. I was confused. The last I heard about Ukraine and Kenya is when the Ukraine president wanted to address our parliament and he was refused. So when did Kenya change positions again? And if it changed, can an individual, even if that individual is the president, can he go and pronounce something that the people have not agreed to, the Kenyans? And when I say Kenyans, I know we can't all meet and agree. That's why we have a parliament. So has there been a debate in parliament discussing which side Kenya supports, Ukraine or Russia? Remember, it is this same President Zelensky of Ukraine and his government who insulted the peace initiative that was led by several African heads of state and government that went to visit Ukraine and Russia just a few months ago. Remember, he said something like to the effect that they are going to seek for grain. Yeah, you remember that comment? Yeah, then now see what President Ruto is saying there. Yeah, what an insult! What a betrayal! Yeah, you see, these are the things that he went to agree in the US with President Biden. He is echoing the Biden government sentiments on their behalf. Yeah, what betrayal is this? Yeah, but anyway, I don't want to I just wanted to put out those points. Yeah, because and I'm doing this specifically. You know, in this channel, I talk to the leaders of God's unfolding season. It's a church channel. It's a Bible. You know, it's a Christian channel. But I'm doing this peradventure that some of you who are out there, we should pray for our leaders. Indeed, we should pray for our leaders. Yeah, but right now, can you imagine if Prophet Samuel in the Bible, at the time of King Saul, decided, irrespective of the fact that Saul decided to do the offering, and that Saul, against God's will and purpose and direction, he decided to go and not kill everybody, but kept, preserved the king of their enemies alive and preserved some of the cattle alive, against God's instructions. Can you imagine if Prophet Samuel decided to go and tell God, you are God's servant, we elected you, you are the king that God chose for us, God preserve you, God give you strength. Can you imagine that kind of confusion? Yeah, what God's wrath will probably turn on the prophet. Yeah, so that's why I'm doing this. I'm not trying to be, and there's nothing wrong with being political. I'm trying to show you as God's, appointed leaders for this unfolding season, that what we have is a soul. in the leadership of our government. And I ask you, like me, I'm praying in tongues. Yeah, I'm praying in tongues. I'm praying for a solution. I think God is, God is gracious and He's able to write things. But I think where our president and his entire government is headed, or where they are almost at a point where their leadership may not be redeemable. Yeah, their lives will always be redeemable as long as they are alive. But their governance, that position that they've been given, they have betrayed it. Yeah. I hear the sound of bleating and the mooing of cows. Already they have made their moves against the purpose and will of God for this nation. And when I say that, being anti-Ruto and his government is not being pro-Raila or pro-Kalonzo or pro the return of Uhuru or any other person. I'm not pro any one of those. I am pro the kingdom of God, pro Jesus. Yeah, and in as long, and I believe that was the position even when I was coming online to say we vote for President Ruto. I always said I was pro kingdom of God, pro Jesus. Right now, he has gone away from the purposes of Jesus Christ. Let me leave you with those thoughts. This Sunday, I know you're resting and reflecting. But our prayer, and I'll just say this openly, I'm asking God to remove this government and just, instill another one. Yeah, and I'll just be honest with you. If you still don't feel like you want to pray out this government, then in your prayers, pray in tongues. Ask, release the mind of God to be done in this nation. Yeah, just ask God, let me pray in tongues. I do that all the time, even for this government. Lord, I release my mind, my disappointments, the things that I like. I release it all to you. Let your agenda, let that which is in your mind for this nation and for this government be done. Yeah, so pray in tongues like that, and watch, see the hand of God moving in this nation. Until next time, brothers and sisters, God bless you. Remember, this is a time of war.